What's interesting about it is in spring, it's like the experimentation time, like flexibility, who can move outside, inside. What, from a coaching standpoint, are you trying to establish in the spring with a group as diverse as you've got, guys that can play a lot of different positions?
I think that's a great question. I think what we're trying to do is try to develop a skill set so that as we go down the season and we feel one player may be better here or there, they got something to fall back on as opposed to just putting them in that situation during the season because it's hard. Mm-hmm. It's the one takeaway from this year that motivated us in spring is, hey, we do have really talented guys that have a broad skill set. Let's give them a chance to have experience at different spots so that we can be more flexible as the year goes.
Barron outside potentially?
Potentially, yeah. He's he's another one. He has a knack for rushing. That's well documented. He has a knack to play in the box as a backer. So we just want to give him a chance to grow his skill set and just experience as much as he can.
With Justin, his story is just ridiculous, what he's been through, and then to see him make a huge play last year in a big game, set him up, and then get another year.
Yeah.
Where do you see him now in his ability not only to play but lead?
Well, you just said it. I see him as a leader of our room. I think we'll go as Justin goes. And you're right, his story, you can make a movie off of it. And the thing about him is he doesn't carry any of that stuff from the past. Like, I think you can learn a lot from a guy like him, the way he goes about his business. Mm-hmm. He's always upbeat, he's always eager to learn, and he's always a guy that's the first guy in line for any drill, and very talented. I think he's very talented, and this year will be a great opportunity for him to continue to grow and make the statement I know he wants to make on the field.
Al, with so many guys, it seems like you have a lot of guys who could play.
Yeah.
Like, how much do you as a staff feel like you need to be a little creative, I guess, in finding ways to get all these guys something to do?
Yeah, exactly right, and that's where we got to do a really good job. That's our job, to figure out how to keep guys engaged and give them roles and to give them an opportunity to contribute because we need them. Just because we have depth doesn't mean that we value the first. The way I look at it, first two teams, those are all one. We got to feel confident. So you're right. We have to do a really good job of trying to create roles, think outside maybe the conventional defense, and put guys in roles so that they can do what they do best, 1,000%. And that is what we're working to do right now.
We saw Pete playing inside the other day. I don't know if he did today or not, but
he did.
What made you want to give him a look at those positions?
Again, just looking at he had a whole year in spring at the outside backer position. He's shown the ability to help us in the box, and as we move pieces around, we want him to feel confident, and I know he does. He has experience. I think before we got here, I think he played a little bit in the box too. So we're trying to just get that experience, man. So we go down and we start the season off, man, and we feel good about our guys' ability to get the job done.
Now, what does it say about the maturity of your group? You have all these guys, Dallas, Taraja, Kayvon, all these young guys that came in here highly recruited almost 3 years ago now.
Yeah.
And they're still behind the same 3 guys they were then, but yet they've all stuck it out and they're all here.
Yeah.
Obviously you manage positions and who's playing where, but how do you manage the egos of these guys to keep them invested and dialed in?
That's a great question. I think it really, that question is answered with the culture of the team. And if we are a team and we do support each other, we've got to put ourselves on the back burner. Now, with all that being said, I play football. Everybody wants to play. I think we've got to do a really good job of keeping them engaged. And fortunately, last year, all those guys played. And they played. It wasn't like they played in the fourth quarter when the game was over. They played in some critical moments. So I think that piece of it helps. But it's a daily deal. It's a culture deal. And it's a brotherhood deal. And I think going through the season, if we want to win a national championship, our goal is the championship. It's a long year. And I think if you look at last year, man, like I can tell you right now, like Tuff Borland, he may have played 40 snaps one game. And so what that does is it keeps his level of play higher throughout the year. And that's something that we're fortunate to be able to do because of the depth. So I think, it's less I'm the two, it's, hey, I'm ready to roll and I'm another piece that can help us win a championship. That's the message we preach, and that's what I believe. And you're right, I think our culture, I think our maturity, is excellent, and it has a lot to do with these older guys. But guys like Taraj, guys like Dallas, guys like Kayvon Pope, he's another guy. Those are very good players, but even more so the character. And so that's the thing we preach, and we focus on getting better at what we do. Like if I'm a backup, our focus isn't on when I'm gonna start. My focus is get my feet right. My focus is running to the doggone ball. Like, that's our mentality. That's what it's got to be. And usually good things happen when you take that approach. That's what I believe, and that's what we preach.
Is that interchangeable parts? Is that also part of it? Barron maybe playing a little more outside now?
Yeah.
Turn to my camera.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
They don't want to see me.
I'm sorry, guys.
No, I'm kidding.
Interchange. You got to be. We got depth, and I think that if we can develop their skill set to fit at different spots, it helps. It helps with just durability throughout the year, because you can roll guys, but it also helps with injuries, and it just helps overall culturally, because everybody's kind of feeling like, hey, I got a knack for rushing the passer. They're trying to help me do what I do best, and that's kind of the goal that we're trying to do, and that's what we are doing.
So when he gets healthy, we'll see him probably more out than in?
You'll see him in too. I think it depends on what we have called, and I think it depends on, the situation. But, he's had a whole year inside. We put him outside here and there during the year on third down, and he's shown like he's incredible in that position. So, and he's smart enough to do that, play those multiple roles. So I think the spring is the time to do that.
Hey, Al, you've got 7 upperclassmen. How do you preach patience with this? You can't be patient. You have to go get the job. Like, how do you balance that, I guess?
Yeah, it's just a daily. I kind of mentioned it earlier. It's a daily reminder of what you need to improve on individually, and it's a reminder of the brotherhood. Like, it's hard to be at your best if you're, in a negative state of mind. And so they're going to have issues. It's part of it. You're going to have times where you're like, damn, I want to play, and that's okay. That's good. Like, to me, I want a player to feel like that. However, let's keep the main thing the main thing. Main thing is the team is performing at a high level. The main thing is I'm getting better as a player, because it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you are going to have a time when you're out there. You are going to have your moment. And if you're not ready, it's going to be on you. Each of these guys are going to have a moment. And when they're out there, I want them to be ready, and that's what we preach.
Are the older guys being pushed?
Oh, yeah, they're being pushed, yeah. Every day. Every day they're pushed. Every day in the meeting room.
The young guys are coming.
Yeah, and that's the competitive culture we have. And I'll say this, though, and this is unique to Ohio State, at least in my experiences. They are being pushed, but unlike any other place, I think our older guys do a great job of helping the young guys. Like, I can tell you the countless times Barron's working with somebody, or Tuff's working with somebody, Pete's working with somebody, and that really is unique. And I think that speaks to the brotherhood. So, but it is competitive, but in the same breath, I think they do a really good job. And that goes back to Josh Perry. I just saw him here today. Yeah. That meant he was in the building earlier today for meetings. Like, that brotherhood piece, big brother part, is very important here, and it shows. So
great to see as a coach, right?
I love it. Yeah, makes you a better coach.
Do you think it helps at all to have 3 guys in that junior class kind of in the same boat together? I mean, it's some kind of support they can give each other as they're all sort of fighting through that, being blocked essentially as far as starting roles? Yeah,
I think that's part of it. But I don't know if it's I'm being blocked from being starter. Is I gotta keep playing, because my number is going to be called. Like, we're not 3 guys. I think we all agree this year it wasn't just 3 guys out there the whole game. The guys are going to roll. Dallas Gannon's got to roll. Taraj has got to roll. Kayvon's got to roll. Like, when I say roll, they got to play, and not just play. They got to play at a high level. So it's hard to think like, I'm not thinking like that. I'm thinking like, look, coach is gonna call my number out there, and I doggone better be ready to play. And that's the mentality we just preaching, myself and Greg Madison, because he works with the Sams. Like, that narrative is what we're all about.
But it is rare in this era, especially
with
the transfer portal, keep guys here that long. I mean, as a coach, how have you tried to, approach that as far as knowing those guys could easily jump for another opportunity, but wanting to keep them here?
I don't even think about it. If a young man wants to move on and he feels like he's, however he feels about it, then, what can you do? I don't think about that when I coach him, though. I coach him like I would coach my son. I say, here's the deal. Here's the truth. Here's what you got to fix. Because you're going to have to fix it here or there. It ain't like you just going to go somewhere else and it's fixed. No, you're going to have to do the work some point. And I just tell him, hey, everything we try to do is to help you. Like, what Ryan Day does on a daily basis for his players, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, everything from mental health, everything, he's public with that. Physically, anything we need, we're blessed to be at Ohio State. You know, I've been to some places where you don't have that. You don't have the means to do it. We really try to do, from Mickey Marotti, we do a great job of trying to extend ourselves beyond the field. So again, like I don't think anybody's mindset is like, well, he may. I don't think. At least me, I don't think like that. And that's just how I go about it.
What's the toughest thing you have to get out of a young player? Is it fighting the impulse and just playing your position? I mean, what is the toughest thing that you find?
Discipline.
Yeah.
So like doing what you're supposed to do when we need you to do it. That's the number one thing, young guy. And part of it's the thinking. It's a lot, man. You think about it, you're a freshman. You know, 6 months ago you at high school. You could do whatever you want. And like high school, you can be a great high school player, and live a lie. You know, like I was in college. I was in high school in Columbus. I thought what I did at high school was good enough. I got to college, and guess what? I found that it wasn't. And you have to kind of, you know, you have to work through that. And our guy, we see that with the freshmen coming in. They got to work through that. It's almost like a shock. Like the first time you realize, hey, this didn't work. And then you got to rebite, is the term I use, and say, all right, let's figure this out. Let's grow. So that's the number one thing. And then from there, the repetition. Tommy Eichenberg's going to be a really good player. And that's what you see, you know, like he's getting better day by day because he's doing the little things. Because in order for you to play, I don't care where, first thing the coach has to do is what? Trust you, right? They got to trust you. Now, you got to be talented, but they got to trust you. And that's the thing. How do you trust a guy? Well, they consistently do what they're supposed to do. And that is, for young guys coming in, you can do that on defense. You can do it on special teams. So whatever opportunity you have, you can do it in the meetings. You do it any way, and that's what we focus on young guys.
Are you seeing Taraja and Kayvon, have they bought into that aspect?
Oh, yeah. Now, listen, you know, those guys, I look at them, you want to look at them like young guys, they're old guys, they're juniors.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they have bought in. They work their tails off. They do. And they're open-minded to what they got to fix. They got to improve on. Because we all got things I got things to improve on. We all do. So, like, you know, they have bought into that. Yes.
Hey, Al,
Last question.
when you have a guy, I know you treat all of them like your son, but when you have a guy who has battled through as many injuries as Hilliard has and is a local guy, how much do you want to pour yourself into a guy like that?
I mean, well, and that right there is like everything. I mean, you can't. I mean, that guy deserves everything you got, and you just have an unbelievable amount of respect for him, and myself and Greg Madison, because Greg works with him as well. Like that guy is a leader. He doesn't have to say a word. You respect him because of what he's been through. So I think your question was how do I see him as a, you know, if he was my son? I mean, it's a pretty easy thing to do. It's not that he's like he's an easy case, you know, because he's a great kid, you know, great person, great man.
I'm assuming that Tough is kind of in the same category. How much comfort does it give you to have a guy with that kind of experience who's been here long enough to have a pension, probably?
Yeah, yeah. He should have a pension. That's funny. I'll use that because he is like, you know, he's an adult. He's very mature. It's hard to put in words. He meets like a coach. Like he's probably in there now or soon to be in there. We watch tape almost. You know, I mean, he's like he's an extension of a coach, and so it's very comforting because he's also a guy that can help lead and show young guys how to conduct a business because he has been here. And I'm sure he was impacted by, you know, all the great linebackers that come here over the past, you know. So it's incredibly important to have Tough Borland in our room and on our team.
He took a